Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Week 9 Prep Rally on madison.com. I'm Rob Hernandez. He's Dennis Semrau. We're at Curtis Jones Field in Verona, where this week in the Big 8 Conference, the big game is here, Madison West at Verona. It's a play-in game for the WIA playoffs. Dennis, the winner is in, the loser likely on the outside looking in, just the way it works in the Big 8 Conference.
Right, winner gets 5 and 4, which guarantees you a playoff spot. Loser does not. Loser might end up playing a Week 10 game. If it's a Verona, I heard there's a possibility of a scrimmage with an Oregon that Friday night. But the winner is definitely guaranteed, and unfortunately, it comes down to this for both teams.
Yep, and it's been a Verona team that's been in a lot of games this year, Dennis. A lot of people have said, maybe the best 2-4 team at one point, 3-4, now at 4-4, with a chance to get in with a win. What have they done well when they've been in ball games? What are they going to have to do well Friday night against Madison West?
Well, the running game has always been their strength, and they've had a little bit more of a balanced offense this year. They've taken care of the football in those good games. West is in a similar situation. They started out with a tough schedule, and that's another team that we said, wow, that's pretty good 1-4 team, and now both 4-4, right where they want to be, playoff eligible.
Well, both teams with a lot of athletes, Dennis, and Madison West maybe also with a chip on its shoulder. A lot of talk this year about, is the city teams, are they going to be good? Are they going to be, a factor in the race? Obviously, they have been. Madison LaFollette's been in the Big 8 race the whole way. Madison Memorial's been one of the more exciting teams that we've seen this year. And now Madison West a chance to give the city 3 teams in the Division I playoffs. That would be quite a statement.
Right. This will be one of the best all-city teams I think we've had in a while. A lot of great talented athletes. West has gone through some injury situations. They're about as healthy as you're going to get at this time of the year. You have to play it like it's your last game because it could be.
And we talked about it too, the winner of this game going into the playoffs. This is like a playoff atmosphere. What can both teams learn from this situation? Do you anticipate that the preparation for this is going to be kind of like a postseason activity?
Right, well, you have a lot more film and you're more familiar with teams in the Big 8 in your own conference, but I think it kind of ramps that intensity up a little bit. When teams get there, you're not quite sure who you're going to play, that first week. They know this is it, and that they know from now on, every game could be your last.
That's right. It's all out there on the table. Win and you're in Friday night here at Curtis Jones Field. Lose, and you might be watching the playoffs from the outside, or as Dennis said, playing a Week 10 game is just an add-on game to the schedule. Dennis, as we look around the area, a lot of conferences, the conference races are wrapped up. A lot of the playoff picture is crystallized and pretty clear to all of us. In the Badger North Conference, though, it's that rivalry game. It's Waunakee, it's DeForest. Obviously, DeForest, we thought for a while was going to be the team to beat in the conference. Reedsburg kind of changed our thinking there, but Waunakee needs a win to kind of go into the playoffs with some momentum and with that winning record in conference play. What do you expect out of that ball game?
Well, we thought this might be for the conference title. Reedsburg's taken care of that the way they've played. They're playing a winless Portage team on Friday night, a win, and they've locked it up. For DeForest, they have not beaten Waunakee since 1996 in the regular season.
Wow.
2007, when they went to the state finals, they won in the playoffs with a 27-13 score. 13-10 was the last time they won in the regular season. Could be that kind of a game on Friday night. Waunakee's gotten better as the season's gone on. They've beaten the teams that they've had to beat. They put themselves right within a game of being automatically playoff eligible.
And it looks like a 500 record will get them in, but obviously they'd like to go in with some momentum. No real showdown game to speak of in the Badger South. Edgewood is at Fort Atkinson. That'll be a good position game there. The crossover this week, Monona Grove, Mount Horeb, Barneveld, should be a good one. It could be a preview of a game depending on where enrollments fall for the postseason, but nonetheless, 2 really good programs doing battle in non-conference play.
That'll be one of the better defenses that the Vikings have gone up against, even though Reedsburg played them pretty tough last week and DeForest shut them out. On the other side, Monona Grove has a good offense. They like that ball control, 7-minute drives.
Right.
And, of course, Jaden Galt, they're anchoring that offensive line, playing in the All-American Bowl. He's looking on for a long playoff run. And both teams, this is how do you handle it? It doesn't count for anything. Except for bragging rights, right. And they could see each other again in the tournament, both in Division III.
We'll see, and I'm sure Monona Grove, kind of a lackluster performance last week and a narrow victory over Milton, wants to go into that postseason with a little bit more of a positive vibe. Dennis, shifting our attention to the Capital Conference, the North, Lodi won the showdown game with Columbus. They look in pretty good position to go in the postseason, perhaps unbeaten. But Capital South, a lot of drama left in the conference race. Cambridge, New Glarus, Monticello play on Friday night. The winner will most likely share with Marshall. Marshall playing winless in conference play. Belleville, the last place team in the league. So a big game there between New Glarus, Monticello, Cambridge, two teams that I think really have established themselves as perhaps surprises alongside Marshall.
Yes, the Marshall game, they didn't take care of the football when they played New Glarus, Monticello. They did when they played Cambridge. And now with Cambridge, you get that round robin right at the end.
Yep.
That's another one where it has playoff implications. Also, gets you ready for the playoffs.
As we look around the area, the one game that stands out as being the game, Broadhead Judah at Walworth Bigfoot. The two powers of the Rock Valley South meet for the conference title. They didn't count the crossovers this year, so nobody has any blemishes. I don't think they would have anyway because they all beat teams from the north. But Broadhead Judah has a chance here to win a conference title at the expense of Walworth Bigfoot, their nemesis the last few years.
Well, Bigfoot's been in the rankings all along, a top 5 team, and that's a team that everybody's looked at. But one of these, like Wanakee DeForest, throw the records out, everything else. A lot on the line with a rivalry and a conference title.
A couple interesting games in the SWC, the Southwest Wisconsin Conference. Dodgeville home to Prairie du Chien, Platteville home to River Valley. Both Dodgeville and Platteville need to win to become playoff eligible. Again, it's a league that took some creative measures to try to fill gaps in the schedule. Only a 6-team conference. There were some teams that played each other twice. The end result is both Dodgeville and Platteville have to win to get to 500 and at least be considered for the playoffs.
That's, again, one of those games that sets you up for the playoffs. You get that fever a little bit early. And it's unfortunate that you've had to play a team twice in the season.
Yeah.
And then maybe play them in the playoffs.
Right.
Could you imagine that? We think it's bad for youth basketball playing a team 3 or 4 times. Now, high school football, it shouldn't happen, so hopefully they'll work that out next year.
And one other game, Fenimore Mineral Point. Fenimore needs to win to clinch a postseason berth, and they've been very exciting. Mineral Point coming off a tough loss at Darlington, and we'll see if the Golden Eagles can add a playoff-eligible team there. Dennis, it's Week 9 already. We'll be talking playoffs at the end of the night on Friday night. The 224-team WIA postseason field will be established. They'll divide them into divisions. They'll break down the divisions into regions. Coaches will meet on Saturday to seed the whole process. A lot happens in about 24 hours, less than that.
It's incredible, but one thing with this huddle program they have now, as far as sharing tape and film, it's a lot easier. So they'll get out on Saturday and boom, they'll be able to hit the ground running. Also, we have a full week for preparation.
Right.
Unlike the past, we have to come back and play on that following Tuesday.
And of course, Friday night on wisconsinprepzone.com, we'll have our live blog up with all the scores and highlights and game updates from throughout the area around the state. As so many games determining perhaps where teams will fall in the enrollment breakdown, which divisions they'll play in, and who will win conference titles, who will be in the playoffs, who will be out of the playoffs. So follow along, participate, hashtag WSJ Scores for local games, and hashtag WISFB for scores from around the state to feed into various blogs around the state. If you want to share what you're seeing out there at the stadium and wherever you might be watching high school football on this last Friday night of the regular season. For Dennis Semrau, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching Prep Rally. We'll see you at the stadium.